The world of sports is filled with incredible moments of triumph and defeat, and one of the most exciting moments to witness is a comeback. Whether it's a team overcoming a seemingly insurmountable deficit or an individual athlete overcoming adversity, comebacks are a testament to the human spirit and the power of perseverance. Here are the top 10 greatest comebacks in sports history. Number 10. The Muhammad Ali in the Rumble in the Jungle. Muhammad Ali's comeback in the Rumble in the Jungle was one of the greatest in sports history. Ali had been the heavyweight champion of the world, but he had been stripped of his title and banned from boxing for 3.5 years due to his refusal to be drafted into the Vietnam War. When he returned to the ring, he was no longer the young and dominant boxer that he once was. He had lost some of his speed, and he had struggled in his comeback fights. He was also facing a formidable opponent in George Foreman, who was considered one of the most powerful and feared boxers of his era. The fight took place in Kinshasa, Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, on October 30, 1974. Ali employed a new strategy, known as the rope-a-dope, where he leaned back on the ropes, covering himself and absorbing punches from Foreman until he got tired. As Foreman began to tire, Ali began to fight back, and in the 8th round, he delivered a powerful right hand that knocked out Foreman, and he regained the heavyweight championship of the world. Ali's comeback was a testament to his strategic mind, his ability to adapt, and his determination to overcome adversity. The victory was also a huge emotional moment for his fans and for the sport of boxing as a whole. Number 9. Ben Hogan in the 1950 US Open. Ben Hogan's comeback at the 1950 US Open was one of the greatest in sports history. Hogan had been one of the most dominant golfers of his era, but he had been involved in a serious car accident in February of that year that left him with multiple injuries, including a broken pelvis, broken ankle, and broken ribs. Many believed that his career was over, and he wouldn't be able to play golf again. However, after months of rehabilitation, Hogan returned to the PGA Tour in June, less than 4 months after the accident. He played in the US Open in Marion, Pennsylvania, with a brace on his leg and using a cart to get around the course. Despite his injuries, Hogan managed to make the cut, and he was in contention throughout the tournament. In the final round, Hogan was tied for the lead with Lloyd Mangrum and George Fazio. He managed to win the tournament by 2 strokes, shooting a final round 68. It was his first major win since the 1948 Masters, and it was widely considered one of the greatest achievements in sports history. Hogan's comeback was a testament to his determination, resilience, and his ability to overcome adversity. The victory was also a huge emotional moment for his fans and for the game of golf as a whole. Number 8. Michael Phelps in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Michael Phelps' comeback at the 2008 Beijing Olympics was one of the greatest in sports history. Phelps had been one of the most dominant swimmers of all time, but he had a poor showing in the early events of the 2008 Olympics. He had only won 1 gold medal and 1 silver medal in the first 6 events, and many had questioned if he would be able to win 8 gold medals, as he had done 4 years earlier in Athens. Phelps was determined to bounce back, and he began to pick up momentum as the competition progressed. He began to swim faster and faster, and he started to win more medals. He won his 2nd gold medal in the 200-meter butterfly, and he also won gold in the 200-meter freestyle and the 200-meter individual medley. In the final few days of the competition, Phelps was in a tight race for the overall medal count with Serbia's Milorad Kavic, but Phelps managed to secure 3 more gold medals in the 4x200-meter freestyle relay, the 100-meter butterfly and the 4x100-meter medley relay, respectively. Phelps had completed one of the greatest comebacks in Olympic history. He had won 8 gold medals, breaking the record for most gold medals won in a single Olympics, and he had become the first swimmer in history to win 8 gold medals in one Olympics. Number 7. Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2016 NBA Finals. The Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2016 NBA Finals gave one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. They were trailing the Golden State Warriors 3-1 in the best-of-7 series, and their chances of winning the championship seemed almost impossible. The Warriors were the defending champions, and they had set an NBA record for most regular season wins in a season with 73. They had a star-studded lineup led by Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. The Cavaliers, on the other hand, were led by LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Love. In the first 4 games of the series, the Warriors had dominated the Cavaliers, winning by an average of 15 points per game. The Cavaliers were facing elimination, and their chances of winning the series looked slim. But in Game 5, the Cavaliers won 112-97, with a strong performance by James, who had a 41-point, 16-rebound, 7-assist, 3-steal game. The Cavaliers also received a strong support from other players like Irving and Love. In Game 6, the Cavaliers won 115-101, with another strong performance by James, who had a 41-point, 8-rebound, 11-assist, 3-steal game and a clutch performance by Kyrie Irving, who scored a 3-pointer that tied the game with 53 seconds remaining in the game. This one forced a Game 7, where the Cavaliers could complete the comeback and win the championship. In Game 7, the Cavaliers won 93-89, with a strong performance by James, who had a 27-point, 11-rebound, 11-assist game and a clutch performance by Kyrie Irving, who hit the game-winning 3-pointer with 53 seconds remaining in the game. The Cavaliers had completed one of the greatest comebacks in NBA history, becoming the first team in NBA history to come back from a 3-1 deficit and win the championship. The comeback was led by the strong performance of LeBron James, who was the first player in NBA Finals history to lead all players in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. Number 6. New York Giants in Super Bowl 42. The New York Giants in Super Bowl 42 gave one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. They were trailing the heavily favored New England Patriots 14-10 in the final minutes of the game, and their chances of winning the Super Bowl seemed almost impossible. The Patriots were led by their quarterback, Tom Brady, and had one of the best offenses in NFL history. They had set an NFL record for most regular season wins in a season with a 16-0 record, and they were heavily favored to win the Super Bowl. The Giants, on the other hand, were led by their quarterback, Eli Manning, and had a solid defense. Throughout the game, the Giants' defense managed to keep the Patriots' offense in check, but the Giants' offense struggled to score points. The Patriots had taken a 14-10 lead with just over 2 minutes remaining in the game, and it seemed as though the game was over. But on the ensuing drive, Manning led the Giants down the field, completing several key passes to wide receiver David Tyree and tight end Plaxico Burress. With just 35 seconds remaining in the game, Manning threw a touchdown pass to Burress to give the Giants a 17-14 lead. The Patriots had one final chance to score, but their drive was stopped by the Giants' defense, and the Giants won the Super Bowl. The Giants' comeback was one of the greatest in Super Bowl history. They had overcome a 4-point deficit in the final minutes of the game, and they had defeated a heavily favored team to win the Super Bowl. The game is still remembered as one of the most memorable and significant upsets in NFL history, and the Giants team became the first team to defeat a team with a perfect regular season record in the Super Bowl era. Number 5. Tiger Woods at the 2019 Masters. Tiger Woods' comeback at the 2019 Masters was one of the greatest in sports history. Woods had been one of the most dominant golfers of all time, but his career had been plagued by injuries, personal issues, and poor form. He had not won a major tournament in over a decade, and many had questioned if he would ever win again. In the years leading up to the 2019 Masters, Woods had undergone multiple surgeries on his back and had struggled with pain and inconsistency on the golf course. He had dropped out of the top 1,000 golfers in the world rankings and had not won a tournament in 5 years. However, Woods had begun to show signs of improvement in 2018, and by the time the Masters rolled around in 2019, he was playing some of the best golf of his career. He began the tournament with a strong first round, and he was in contention throughout the tournament. In the final round, Woods was tied for the lead with Francesco Molinari and several other golfers. He made a birdie on the 13th hole to take the lead, and he held on to win the tournament by 1 stroke. It was Woods' 5th Masters victory, and his 15th major title. It was his first major win in 11 years. His comeback was one of the most remarkable in sports history, and it was a testament to his perseverance, determination, and his ability to come back from adversity. The victory was also a huge emotional moment for his fans and for the game of golf as a whole. Number 4. Liverpool in the UEFA Champions League final of 2019/2020. Liverpool's comeback in the UEFA Champions League final of 2019/2020 was one of the greatest in sports history. They were trailing 3-0 to Barcelona at halftime in the semi-final second leg, and their chances of advancing to the final seemed almost impossible. The first leg at Anfield was ended with a 0-0 draw, which meant that Liverpool had to score at least 3 goals at Camp Nou to have any chance of advancing. Barcelona was led by Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez, and they had one of the best offenses in Europe. In the first half of the match, the Barcelona dominated the game, and they scored 3 goals in the first half. Liverpool was facing elimination, and their chances of advancing to the final looked slim. But in the second half, everything changed. Liverpool's manager, Jurgen Klopp, made some tactical changes, and the team played with more intensity and urgency. The team managed to score 3 goals in the space of just 4 minutes, and they were able to level the aggregate score at 3-3. The match went into extra time, but no more goals were scored, so the match was decided by penalties. Liverpool won the penalty shootout, 4-3, to advance to the final. Liverpool had completed one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. They had overcome a 3-0 deficit to advance to the final, where they defeated Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 to win the Champions League. The comeback was led by the team's spirit and character, the tactical changes made by the manager, and the never-say-die attitude of the team and the fans. Number 3. United States men's hockey team in the 1980 Winter Olympics. The United States men's hockey team in the 1980 Winter Olympics gave one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. They were trailing the heavily favored Soviet Union team 4-3 in the semi-finals of the Olympics, and their chances of winning the game seemed almost impossible. The United States team was made up of amateur and college players, while the Soviet team was made up of experienced professionals. The Soviet team had won the gold medal in the previous 4 Winter Olympics and were considered one of the best teams in the world. In the first period, the Soviet team had taken a 2-1 lead, and they extended their lead to 3-1 in the second period. The United States team managed to score 1 goal in the second period to make it 3-2. The third period was an intense back and forth. The Soviet team managed to score 1 more goal, and they were leading 4-2 with less than 10 minutes remaining in the game. The United States team managed to score 1 more goal, but they were still behind 4-3 with only a few minutes remaining. But in the final minutes of the game, the United States team managed to score 2 goals, one by Mark Johnson with just 1 minute and 39 seconds remaining, and another by Mike Eruzione with just 10 seconds remaining, to win the game 4-3. The United States team had completed one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. They had defeated a heavily favored team and advanced to the gold medal match, where they went on to beat Finland 4-2 to win the gold medal. The game is still remembered as the Miracle on Ice and is one of the most iconic moments in American sports history. Number 2. Buffalo Bills in the 1992 Wild Card Playoffs. The Buffalo Bills in the 1992 Wild Card Playoffs gave one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. They were trailing the Houston Oilers 35-3 at halftime in the Wild Card game, and their chances of winning the game seemed almost impossible. The game is known as the comeback as it is one of the most memorable comebacks in NFL history. The Bills were led by their quarterback, Jim Kelly, who had led the team to 4 consecutive Super Bowl appearances but had yet to win a championship. The Oilers, on the other hand, were led by their quarterback, Warren Moon, and had one of the best offenses in the league. In the first half of the game, the Oilers dominated the Bills, scoring 28 points in the first quarter alone. The Bills' offense was struggling, and their defense couldn't stop the Oilers' high-powered attack. But in the second half, everything changed. The Bills' offense woke up, and Kelly led the team on a scoring drive on their first possession of the second half. The Bills' defense also stepped up, and they were able to stop the Oilers' offense. The Bills continued to score, and they were able to cut the lead to 35-31 with just over 2 minutes remaining in the game. The Oilers were able to get the ball back, but they were unable to run out the clock, and the Bills got the ball back with just 16 seconds remaining. Kelly led the team down the field, and with just 4 seconds remaining, he hit wide receiver Andre Reed for a touchdown to tie the game at 35-35. The extra point was good, and the Bills won the game in overtime, 41-38. The Bills' comeback was one of the greatest in NFL history. They had overcome a 32-point deficit, the largest comeback in NFL history at that time, and won the game in dramatic fashion. The game is still remembered as one of the most memorable comebacks in NFL history, and it is a testament to the never-say-die attitude of the Buffalo Bills team and its fans. Number 1. The Boston Red Sox in the 2004 American League Championship Series. The Boston Red Sox in the 2004 American League Championship Series gave one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. They were down 3-0 in the best-of-7 series against their bitter rivals, the New York Yankees. This meant that the Red Sox had to win the next 4 games in a row to advance to the World Series. The Red Sox had not won a World Series since 1918, and the curse of the Bambino seemed to be in full effect, as the Yankees had won 26 championships in the meantime. The Red Sox were also facing a Yankees team that had won 101 games during the regular season and had the best record in baseball. In the first 3 games of the series, the Yankees dominated the Red Sox, winning by a combined score of 19-8. The Red Sox were facing elimination, and their chances of winning the series looked slim. But in Game 4, the Red Sox won 10-3, thanks to a strong performance by pitcher Curt Schilling and a 3-run homer by David Ortiz. This win gave the Red Sox some momentum and hope that they could come back and win the series. In Game 5, the Red Sox won 4-2, with another strong performance by Schilling, who pitched on an injured ankle, and the home run by Ortiz. The Red Sox were now down 3-2 in the series and had to win the next 2 games in Yankee Stadium, where they had not won a game all season. In Game 6, the Red Sox won 5-4, with the help of a clutch performance by Derek Lowe and another home run by Ortiz. This win forced to Game 7, where the Red Sox could complete the comeback and advance to the World Series. In Game 7, the Red Sox won 10-3, with a strong performance by pitcher Pedro Martinez and a home run by Johnny Damon. The Red Sox had completed one of the greatest comebacks in sports history, becoming the first team in baseball history to come back from a 3-0 deficit and advance to the World Series. They went on to win the World Series that year, their first in 86 years, breaking the curse of the Bambino. These comebacks have become part of sports folklore and continue to inspire athletes and fans alike to never give up, no matter how dire the situation may seem. Which of these comebacks do you find fascinating? Let's know in the comments section.